Where is it? Okay. Shruti vipratipanna yada sthasyati nischala samadhavajala buddhi tada yogamavapsyasi. Gopal, read.
When your intellect, confused by hearing conflicting statements, will rest steady and undistracted in meditation on God, you will then attain yoga, everlasting union with God.
Wow. Let's just do the meanings first. Yada. When. Now yada you should understand means when, and tada means then. Ha. Yada when te, your buddhi, intellect. Shruti vipratipanna, which is confused by hearing conflicting statements. Which is confused by hearing conflicting statements. Sthasyati, remains. Nishchal, nishchal, steadfast, steady, not chanchal. Nishchal, not chanchal. So up till here, when your intellect, which was confused by hearing conflicting statements, remains steadfast, then what will happen? Achala, steadfast, it remains steadfast without moving. Samadhav, in samadhi, in divine consciousness. Tada, then at that time, avapsyasi, you will attain yogam, yog, union with the Supreme. Now let's understand a little bit the nature of our buddhi. We know that man is chanchal. Man always has sankalp, vikalp. Sankalp, vikalp. I'll go to satsang. No, yaar, forget it. No, I should go. But it's raining. Doesn't matter, I'll get an Uber. I may not get an Uber. Continuously, your mind will keep vacillating, fluctuating. And why is that happening?
The nature.
And why is it like that?
You're not trained.
Not trained.
Not trained.
Because who is advising it? Intellect. And intellect is also not established in steadfast SSAP. So the intellect also can never remain quiet. Intellect also by itself is never quiet. Intellect always wants to know things. That is the nature of intellect. It's always wondering. It's always thinking, what is this? It's always exploring continuously. One sec, come here.
We are not thinking on this.
You are surely thinking. Anybody is saying something, everyone. What is she saying? What is she thinking? Maybe we are getting some gift today. There is a thirst to know. Intellect has a thirst to know, and that is intrinsic within the intellect. And that is why we are continuously exploring. We are exploring the world, not content. We are exploring outer space also. Not content, we are exploring within the earth also. Not content, we are exploring in the ocean also. We will keep exploring because the intellect wants to know. But what the intellect actually is searching for is yourself within. And because we don't know that is what the intellect wants to know, we are continuously searching elsewhere. Right? Twinkle, twinkle, little star. How I wonder what you are. Why are you wondering what a star is? You wonder what am I? But we are even concerned with what the star is. We are not concerned with mere corner, right? So, when that intellect, now go back to the previous verse, when that intellect is trained, when its answers are clear, when it is established in Buddhi Yoga, then what happens? It starts becoming quiet. Otherwise, it will not be quiet. And when it is quiet, when will it become quiet? When all the questions are answered. And when there is no more sanshay, when there are no more doubts, then what happens? Then the intellect can start searching inside. Till then, your intellect will keep searching outside. Now, if you see all the activities we have here in Siva, what is Karma Yoga? Which activity is Karma Yoga? Annapurna Seva, or whatever seva you all do, Prasad Seva. It's not like you're bringing batata vada to impress me, right? You're just bringing it because you feel like doing it. No, there is no seva here which is compulsory. It is all voluntary seva. So it is because you feel a desire to share. What is Bhakti Yoga? What is Upasana? What activity is Upasana? Puja and Bhakti, our Friday sessions, right? Then intellect to become clear, what sessions are there? Bhagavad Gita. And also question answer sessions. You understand the importance of question answer session? All questions need to be answered. Until all questions are answered, the intellect will keep exploring. Then when all questions are answered according to scriptures, very, very important. Our answers should be according to scriptures, not my personal opinion. No answer from me is my personal opinion. This is very important. If I don't know, I will refer to my Guruji. I will not answer any question which I don't know the answer of 100% from my personal experience. I will take the knowledge, I will have applied it to my life, then I will even dare to say it to you. Okay? So when all this happens, the direction of the mind changes from outside to inside. And when the direction of the mind changes from outside to inside, spirituality begins. That is the meaning of spirituality. When the inquiry is moved from the outside into the inside. And it is only after all these processes that the mind can get established in samadhi. Samadhi means consciousness of the divine, divine consciousness. If you go with Ashtanga Yoga also, you can definitely ask the people here who are expert in Ashtanga Yoga. You cannot suddenly jump to samadhi. You have to go yama, niyama, then asana, pranayam, pratyahar, dharana, dhyan, samadhi. It's a process. You cannot suddenly say, I want to suddenly start doing dhyan. What dhyan you'll do? You're thinking of your cook, you're thinking of your driver, you're thinking of your children's PTA meeting, you're thinking of your secretary. What dhyan you'll do? All this training needs to be done. Till then, whatever meditation you're doing, it is still a training. Okay, so that's now understood the whole sequence.
One question.
Yeah, ask.
Guilt and remorse are the emotions which are validation to not doing anything 100% or in samatva or can be valid.
Guilt and
Remorse.
remorse. they are useful up to a point. Guilt is good to have, to know that you did something wrong. After you've known what is you have done wrong, you have remorse, repentance, then why you have to continue carrying that with you? After that, change your plan, go to plan B from your plan A which was wrong, go to plan B, do the right thing, drop it. So once we had done one satsang on how to on forgiveness and remorse and all these silly things. So first is you have done something wrong. The first step is to recognize that you have done something wrong. After you've recognized, don't push it under the carpet. Okay, you feel remorse for it. Then in the Vedas there are prayaschit karmas. For every wrong that you've done, there is a prayaschit karma to rectify it. Do that. How to do it? You have to ask somebody who knows that. You do that prayaschit karma. Ask for forgiveness from the person you may have harmed. And then start your journey on the right path. Drop it. Drop it. But if you're not doing any of the other things, then keep it till you can move to the steps of prayaschit karma, forgiveness, and moving to the right steps.
The pre part of the question is like, is it a validation of like you are not doing something 100%? Like always these kind of feelings.
So is the guilt pursuing or persisting because you have not moved on to something good?
No, I mean, if suppose you intend to do something with the samatva bhav 100%, but you fail to do, so there also sometimes the guilt comes and you feel
That is not correct. That is not correct. That is not correct. You intend to do with samatva bhav. You make an effort to do. From time to time, you may slip out of it.
Right. And second,
And that is part of the process. You know, if you are training for a sprint for the Olympics, sometimes your time will be 1 minute. Sometimes your time may be 40 seconds. Sometimes your time may be 1.5 minutes. Whatever it may be. That doesn't mean all your efforts are failed. It's a process. It's a training. So sometimes you'll slip out of samatva bhav. Okay, I recognize I slipped out of samatva bhav. I must be more aware. Therefore, I must stop all the other vikshepes which are going on. I must focus on what I'm doing. I must focus on my mind. And I will keep trying. I will keep trying till I get it. But no guilt. No guilt. In fact, I think it's commendable that you have caught yourself slipping. It's commendable that you don't want to slip. It's commendable that you're trying to become better. So no guilt. Pat on the back. Not guilt. Pat on the back. I'm aware where I slipped. Most people are not aware where they have slipped. And even after being aware that they have slipped, they feel, okay, yeah, let it be. Next time I'll try. This time it's okay. You know, she was the one who started the fight. So, we try to pass it off, justify it. Don't justify it. Hold yourself responsible. Be good that you have caught yourself. Go ahead. Make it better the next time. Make it better the next time. Make it better the next time. That's the way to progress. Sitting in guilt and all is stagnant water. You will not progress.
So now you should keep acknowledging these baby steps that you do.
And everything is baby steps only. If you think that, today we learnt about samatva bhava, once I go home, I will be established in samatva bhava. It's not going to happen. Let me be clear about it also. You will be in samatva bhava, then you will be in samatva bhava, then you will be in ABC samatva bhava. Lots of things will happen till that samatva bhava gets established. It takes sometimes lifetimes. So one satsang is not enough. Okay.
Just one more.
Yeah.
If you've come to forgiveness because of some karma which you've incurred in the past.
You have done some karma and you have forgiven yourself.
Not no, it's not about forgiving. You hurt someone else,
You've hurt someone else.
but you're in repentance.
Okay.
So how do you clear it if the person's nowhere reachable or whatever?
Pete, the mind is a subtle energy. It doesn't need a physical presence. Intend it. Ask for forgiveness at your mind level. It will work faster than at physical level. Clear everything that is uncleared with anybody, not only guilt, forgiveness, everything, even love. We go through our entire lifetime not expressing our love to the ones we love. How foolish we are. If you cannot, and that person has passed away already, now what do I do? Express it. Energy is still there, only body has gone. Express it.
And something like forgiveness is more about clearing your antakaran than clearing.
So that's all at the energy level. It's all at the energy level. You have to clear it from yourself. Feel the need to clear and clear. That's it. Finished. Person is there, not there, doesn't matter. Sometimes it goes faster when it's not there also. Alright, so what happens? The mind has become quiet. Questions have been answered. Moh has been removed, means delusion has been removed. Confusion has been removed. Mind also will become quiet when intellect becomes quiet. Yes or no? Because intellect is what is controlling the mind. So when the intellect has become quiet, mind will become quiet. When the mind becomes quiet, the senses will become quiet, because who's controlling the senses? The mind. See how what we are trying to do is we are trying to control eating chocolate at the level of senses. Are you getting it? We are trying to give up alcohol or cigarettes or whatever your batata vada is in your life, whatever that batata vada is, we are trying to give it up at the level of senses. How will it ever happen? Because the mind is goading and the intellect is telling the mind. That is why we are failing in controlling our addictions, our desires. It has to start with intellect. This Vishay is poison for me. Therefore, I don't need it in my life. It's a concept at intellect level. That will tell the mind, don't go there. Mind will tell the senses, put your hand back in the pocket. Don't go there. Understood? It starts there. So, when you become master even at this, see how many things you have to master before you reach that stage. You have to master your dharma, your bhava, your upasana, your clearing, your vairagya, so many things. Then everything has quietened down. What will happen next? Aparoksh Anubhuti.